Just strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Good evening and welcome to the Inside AFL Show. I'm your host, The Horse, and with me tonight we've got two wannabe Cone of the Week experts. I guess we could say one, Deadly, he's back. How you doing, mate?
Doing good, mate. Been a busy man as of late, so I haven't really had the time to jump on too many potties, but we're back and we're ready to rip in.
100%. And back with us for a second crack at it. Before Rookie and I go live on KO Sports on Saturday night, Rookie Coach is here to help us through the panic room. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I don't know if it says anything about me or you guys that I'm back again. So we'll see how this one pans out.
Let's go back by popular demand because we've already got a $30 donation from Yaron Gartner, you absolute bloody legend. May hopefully everyone's scores be kind and green arrows this week, mate. You're an absolute legend and we appreciate you here on the Insight channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, bell, give us the thumbs as well. Helps get us out in the SuperCoach community. But also, if you're listening to us on audio, give us that 5-star review. Now, before we get into tonight's sponsor of the show, I want to give a shout out to a local sponsor, Deadly, and that's Strommy. It's Strongcrete here in Greater Bendigo, or in the Bendigo area. Absolute legend of a bloke. Does a lot with the community here in Bendigo, donates a lot of his time. And even when he's having a bit of a rough go of it by himself, he's still out helping out others. So if you're looking for a concrete or someone to do some handiwork in and around the Bendigo area, I will put his details below in the description. You can reach out, and very reasonable prices as well. So shout out to Strommy. There you go.
Beautiful.
So tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the games, is going to be brought to you by Draftstars, Australia's #1 DFS site. The link is in the description below. If you'd like to try your hand at Draftstars, there is a sign-up code down below. Click on that, and it'll take you through to our Insight-only leagues. That's right. We have our own leagues where there is guaranteed prize money to be won each week. No other league runs this, and Draftstars do it especially for us. So if you're interested in giving it a crack, click on the link down below and help yourself to an absolute wow of a time. Now, let's get into teams. Deadly, you're going to run the teams tonight. So without further ado, mate, off you go.
So subs have just come in for the Gold Coast Hawthorn game. David Swallow is the sub for the Suns after freshly coming back in. And Bailey McDonald is the sub for Hawthorn. No late-ins. So unfortunately, Henry Hustwaite is out. As we could see there, Swallow and Ned Moyle in. Yeah, no late-outs. So Jared Witt stays in. Jake Rogers and Will Graham making way. Will Graham, I just saw before, had surgery on a MCL, I want to say.
Yeah, okay.
So best of luck to him. Big ins for Hawthorn, Tom Barras, Jack Grimshaw, Ned Reeves, Cam McKenzie and Kaushard Deer with Jarman Impey, Jack Gunston, Luke Bruce, Lloyd Meek having a rest and Henry Hustwaite making way. For this game, in the humid of the Northern Territory, it's hard to still go past the Suns and especially that midfield core.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, rookie Gold Coast is 7-0 in Darwin. Is that right?
Yeah, they've got a tremendous record. And I think this is, some are saying that the game that Hawthorn need to prove that they're actually a good team. If they can get a win here, they're looking pretty good. But more importantly, this is really interesting for those that jumped on CJ. So a lot of people 100%. Will be quite scared watching CJ tonight. So bit riding on. I personally have Newcomb VC. Don't ask why. I don't want to answer questions about it. But it's happening. I'm scared.
Yep. So I see Global here. He's looking for a player 400K in his flex. So defender, mid or forward. Depending on your cash generation, I don't like CJ away from home in Darwin where it's humid. It's going to be 30 degrees, 60% humidity up there. And for me, I think Gold Coast are probably going to win by 6+ goals. But is there anyone else under 400K that you could potentially go, maybe? You know, we've got Bergman who's going to match up on homes apparently, and he scored 100 last week. Philippou even.
Yeah, Philippou was the one I was going to say. Philippou is definitely the one I'd go for under 400.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we see Yeah, I like Pooh. We'll get into my trade-ins later, but I would have loved to have bought the Pooh in this week, but just can't.
We know you love Pooh.
Oh, piss off, idiot. Now, for Gold Coast, they look fairly sorted, don't they? They're quite structurally sound. Bodie Ewan's coming back into form. You could probably grab him in a draft league. He'd be sitting there on waivers, I'd say. Johnny Noble, though, rookie, he's been quietly just going about business, averaging over 100 this year.
He is, and he's one. I won't be ashamed to admit it. I've definitely probably taken a longer look at him than most as a sneaky little D6 option. Quietly doing very well. Nothing spectacular, which is why he's gone under the radar. But again, it looks to be a nice, safe 100. Has found his role within the team.
For sure.
If you really want to go left field and you need someone from that buy, I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
100%.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Hawthorn deadly. Are we targeting anyone here?
I still don't hate the idea of John Newcomb if you don't have him. But James Sicily as well is another one I'm definitely keeping an eye on in this game. I want to see how he goes with Barras and Scrimshaw both back in. And if he still looks to have, the role and whatnot that he's had the past few weeks, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, love it. Let's move on to... Oh, well, give us your tips first, lads. Do we all think Gold Coast?
Yeah, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Righto. There was Sydney and Carlton. And here's the big news, Deadly. I want you to roll with this because TDK, we got word yesterday that he was going to be out. So we've had a little bit longer to prepare for this than most other people. Shitnet is back, though.
Yeah. And I mean, I actually reckon Pitnet will play all right. I hate saying it, but I reckon he will play all right. They probably needed to give Tom de Koning a bit of a rest. It is the larynx injury. Obviously, it's keeping him out. But I think he did need a rest after, full-time rucking for the past 9 weeks. He did look a bit dead on the weekend. He looked like he couldn't go the journey with it. Sydney-wise, Joel Amati and Peter Adams come in for Ben Patton, thank God, and Hayden McLean. No real structural changes for Sydney, really, besides Amati coming back in. It probably pushes someone back down back, which they've got James Jordan named at half back there. I doubt that happens. I don't know. Someone's going to have to swing back.
Yeah.
It's probably Joel Hamlin goes back. He's been playing forward for a little bit.
Yeah, probably. So Patton is out, so he's going to work towards that loop option that everyone's been using him for and fairly handy at it as well. Peter Adams, rookie, he's probably the worst kick in the AFL.
I mean, that's being nice, but I think he's... Look, I would still pay to go see him try to kick a goal from a set shot. Just because of the entertainment value.
Oh, it's unreal, isn't it? So for Carlton, they've been smashed with injuries, but I want to give a shout out to Nick Newman, who's back on the track after his ACL in the preseason. So he may be coming back sooner rather than later, but someone I want people to keep an eye on, and he's a bit more expensive than other rookies, but Jackson Binns, Deadly.
Yes, he's got the talent. The biggest problem is with Binns is he was in a bit of a seagull role last week at times when Sard and Hollands were playing a little bit more lockdown. Yeah. He'll probably, especially with Blake Acres going out, he's just going to most likely just sit on a wing now. So his scoring might drop off a little bit, but he's definitely one we can look at next week, especially if like a Cooper Simpson or the like doesn't pay off.
Yeah. Yeah. Did Jared Waitley call him the wheelie bin last week?
Yeah. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I've heard worse.
Oh, I've been called worse today. But Matthew Carroll back for those that held on to him as well. So that will be handy for cash generation for those that grabbed him. Hopefully he's not the sub. But what happens now, rookie, just before we move on to the next game, we put in our tips. Mark Pitnet. So we give him a bit of shit here. We call him Shitnet because it fucks around with TDK. But this week I've decided to bite the bullet and I need the big two in my R1 and R2. So Maxwell Gawn is coming into my team. I know there's a very expensive price tag that comes along with it. But if Brisbane don't have Oscar McInerney, that could be another low break even next week. We'll get into that later. But if Mark Pitnet plays well, How does this go for TDK moving forward?
There's a few different routes that I think it's going to take. There's been a few rumours and suggestions that if Pitnet does play well, they have the bye in 2 weeks. They might
That's
as
right.
well rest TDK next week if he's not 100%. Keep Pitto in, and then they've got the bye. And then I guess they've got a nice run after the bye for a little bit. But maybe Pitnet is helping, and maybe they get TDK to still, from an AFL perspective, perform better for them, but from a SuperCoach perspective, not do the job for us. Maybe it helps win them games or be more competitive for that second half, which they've been absolutely horrid in. Yep. So, look, I'm not liking the outset so far for TDK. I mean, look, if Pitnet goes down, he hasn't had the best run in the VFL leading into being brought back into the team. So there are chances that he does fall out of the side. You could probably hold for one if you really had other fires to put out on TDK, but I think he's a great target to move on and make something magical happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got to fix up my microphone because it's playing silly buggers. Keep going, mate.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I reckon it's a pretty safe out for TDK. If you don't have one of Sherry or Gorn, that's the easiest trade you can make this week, I reckon, annoyingly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have both of them and you have a triple ruck, or you're just lucky enough, I suppose you've got to have triple ruck if you have Tom DeConing and both of them. But this is your ticket to a Bont or a Butters either this week or next week. Just save the cash, get someone a bit cheaper this week and bank that cash and get a Bont or a Butters from another guy next week. This is the ticket.
Yeah, 100%. Tips, lads?
Sydney at home.
Yeah, gotta go Sydney.
Carlton have only won twice in their last 20 games against Sydney at the SCG. Collingwood versus, is it Adelaide?
Yeah.
You've just scrolled right to the bottom, have you?
The thing busted on me. Didn't want to load. We're back. Don't worry.
We're back? Good.
All right.
Collingwood versus Kawana. So it is Sir Doug Nicholls round. Shout out to the great man who helped revolutionise AFL football. I am tipping that this may be the game of the round. Deadly.
Ooh. Oh, geez, it's definitely up there. It's hard to argue with, but I do reckon GWS Freo is going to be a cracker.
Mm-hmm.
But, yes, this game is going to be very nice to watch as well, and it's first game on a Saturday. So for Collingwood, Braden Maynard comes in along with Brody Mychek and Pendles. They come back in. Darcy Moore, Lockie Schultz, and Oleg Markov make way. No changes for Adelaide, which that's happened. That's 3 weeks in a row now. They haven't made a single change after that big change week that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So they're obviously liking the team that's kicking on, and it still doesn't contain Sid Draper in it.
No. It's still got he who shall not be named, who is your favourite player in there. And I don't know how that guy. Unreal. For those that are dropping comments in the chat, we will get to them, we promise. Rookie, how do you see this game going on, mate? And there's been a little bit of chatter, not a lot, but people looking for cheaper options given that our rookie crisis is well and truly set in at the moment. And there was a little bit of talk about Jack Crisp, but you wouldn't go there, would you?
No, I can't see a world where it turns out to be a viable trade-in option that works out for the rest of the season. The two, if we're looking at cash problems and we want some cheapies that may not be long-term plays per se, but one's a short-term play and one's more of a pod play. The short-term play is, again, I've kind of gone cold on this pick, but it's still viable for all the options you want to look at. James Peatling, with the favourite man of Crouch being out, seems to have benefited from that more than Dawson, more than anyone, and seems super consistent in that revised role with Crouch out. Again, we've seen scores above the hundreds, 110s with him out. So if you're looking for like a Daniel alternative, if you're still hopping off him, you could, within 10K, jump to a Peatling, got a better buy as well. Another option, which I've heard some looking at with, and I'm expecting a spike score here because Moore is out, Dan Houston, who we have really yet to see pop off with Collingwood at the moment. Still trying to find his role and find his place within that back line. Obviously, you got Josh Dacos down there as well, who seems to be doing very, very well this season, quite consistent. I feel like we'll see a spike score from Houston. Does he then potentially find a better role towards the end of the season? Potentially, he is getting quite cheap. So if you wanted a pod selection, Houston, again, we know what he's capable of when given the right role. Could he be someone you look at to make some difference in your team?
100%.
Yeah, and the way cash gen's going, we might have to look to it. Some guys, some real fallen primos like a Houston or a. I'm putting him in the same category as maybe I don't even know, maybe a Dan Rioli sort of area.
Yeah.
If them two can, say John Noble goes down, Dan Rioli takes that big role at Gold Coast, I'm definitely looking at them as maybe a D7 swing at the cheap price.
We're gonna have to get creative. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
100%. But we could have Dan Houston cheap. We could have Tom Stewart cheap. There could be lots of options. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the rookie draft happening in a couple of weeks' time as well. So there's going to be some prime talent to come up from VFL, Waffle, Sandful that could walk into a game at Richmond, North Melbourne. There's some serious talent, isn't there?
There's some guys who will just walk into a team. Even there's guys that Collingwood are looking at that will just walk straight into their forward line, and they've got a stacked forward line. That's just how good this mid-season draft is looking like, one of the best in years.
Yep. Corey, you're right. Dylan Moore is pretty cheap as well. He can be another one that you can look at. So for this one, lads, you look at the footy tips this week and you think you could fairly comfortably get 8, maybe 9 if you get lucky with one. But I feel like this may be the one that throws people off. I'm going to tip Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm tipping Adelaide too.
Yep, definitely going the Crom on this one.
I trust him.
No,
let's go to the next game.
Word.
Yeah, I don't trust.
I don't trust Matty Nix, but I trust the team without Matt Crouch and with Ben Keys in it. So,
there we go.
Yuck. All right, we're moving on. Port Adelaide, the other Magpies or the Prison Bars team versus the Geelong Footy Club, and that's at Adelaide Oval. Your boys, rookie. Talk us through, mate. What are we going to expect from your lads?
Well, they have a decent record at Adelaide Oval, so it will be a competitive game. I imagine that we have no Tom Stewart being named, interesting enough. So he's getting rested, which I think is the reason why we still see Buse listed in the team. But Jack Henry 100%. Is also back. So our defensive line just got a lot stronger. Can probably see some improvements from Connor O'Sullivan if for whatever reason you're still holding on. But again, I think the team, now that Myers is back, is finding form again. Having Myers out of the team just showed how crucial he was to the flow of the game. But look, for those eyeing Buse or Holmes, Buse I still wouldn't touch with the 10-foot pole. He's at an elevated price. I just don't like his job security. He has been best 23 before. Don't get me wrong. And Scott does love him. But again, looking at that interchange, I imagine he is sub because we've got Duncan, a defender, Mullen, who can be a defender, Mullen that can be a defender as well, Bowers, which is a very flexible position player. He can play wherever he wants. And then you got Henry as well. I mean, they could throw Henry as sub because he was sub before, but I don't think they do that again. So I suspect Buse will cop the vest. For those looking at Holmes as well, ever so quickly, I do hear rumors of a heavy tag from Bergman potentially, as it worked so well last week on Dawson.
Yeah, he did a ripper job, didn't he? Yeah,
it's almost locked in that he's going to cop it.
So I'm literally throwing up either getting in the pew or getting in Holmes, and man, that heavy tag scares me of picking Holmes this week.
Yeah, I was originally set on getting Holmes and Sinclair this week. And after the news of the heavy tag and obviously the Teddy Canger, I've had to look elsewhere. So no Holmes for me this week, and we'll reassess at a later date. But I still do definitely want him in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. For Port Adelaide, we still see Dante Vicentini as the number 1 ruck. Does he tickle any of your fancy guys if he has another good week this week? So he played against Riley O'Brien and scored a 95 last week, who was a well-known ruck killer. And was he the number 1 or the number 2 hit-outs to advantage ruckman last week? Number 1. No. So when you look at those numbers, he's putting himself in a really solid position to continue to be the number 1 ruck. And we can see in the emergencies there, Jordan Sweet, he's not injured. They're picking Vicentini on form, and that they believe he's the best ruckman moving forward. So if he can keep up this form, Deadly, he could be a nice little downgrade target to a degree. He's 250K, but if he's going to keep pumping out 95s, you can still make 200K out of him.
This is a Matt Flynn situation 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, if he goes 95, 100 again, it's going to be Flynn again. If you still have Flynn, which I think I'm still holding Flynn for one more week, that's just a straight swap, bank 200K, and we go again. The way Cash Gen's going, we've got to get creative, and Vicentini would be a gift. It would be like Flynn a couple of weeks ago. It's the same sort of thing. As long as he holds the spot, as long as he keeps performing, there's no reason for Sweet to overtake him. Sweet was good in the sandful, but he wasn't great.
No. All right, Port Adelaide for me. Sorry, rookie.
I'll back Gilbert. I'll go to the Cats.
How are you going to bring it home?
I reckon the Cats got to me.
Let's go to the next game, lads. GWS versus Fremantle. This you think is going to be an absolute cracker, Deadly? I think the opposite, mate. I think GWS are going to flog the pants off them.
Fremantle are just they're building. I reckon they've had some very ordinary games, especially against very ordinary teams, to be honest. But they always get up for games like this. It's just how it is. I mean, I thought they'd get up a bit more against Collingwood. They sort of just got the pants pulled off of them. But I reckon this is sort of a bounce back game. And with Luke Jackson rucking, anything could happen. He could have 60 touches and 45 hitouts, and they'll just flog him.
What do you reckon, Coach?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Deadly on this one. I think Jackson is probably makes him better than having the slow man of Shrek in there. Mm-hmm. The interesting part is, again, not that we pay much attention to team sheets, but Bedford's back as a follower. You imagine he's going to one of Sarong or Brayshaw, given that to try and disarm that midfield a little bit. But I think GWS just bring it home quite strongly. I think Whitfield's going to have an absolute blinder. It's going to be a good game.
Is he a VC option for you this week?
I actually would put him as a VC.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Well, you've been fairly strong with your VC and C options pretty much over the course of the year. So
it's easy when you got Max Gordon in your team, but that's
well,
all right.
Fuck off.
I'm with you though.
Yeah, Whitfield's been very consistent, even on grounds like GMHBA where we expected probably a sub-ton. He managed to get a decent score. So on a decent ground, we've seen a spike score of 170 at this venue as well previously. There's no reason why he can't do it again.
Yes, spot on. Finn Callahan's bouncing back to form as well, just short of 500K and tunning up consistently. I feel like we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, Coach. Tom Green, I feel like he's just teasing us. I feel like there's a breakout coming.
If I had the facilities to get him into my team this week, I would be. Anyone that can get Green in, please do.
That welcomes my pod players. Better mention. I've got Tom Green in this week, so
yes.
Great minds think a lot. Yeah, I got Tom Green in this week.
I was talking about Tom Green weeks ago, and I was so hot on the pick, and it's not died off.
I sort of decided that I needed a midfield this week, and I was always had my eye on Isaac Heaney the whole time. I wanted Isaac Heaney, and I still probably will go there. Then I had a look into Tom Green and said, I haven't owned him. I want to own him. Why not?
He's a contested pig. He absolutely loves the contested ball.
Can I throw something up to you boys before we move on from this? Because it's probably not something that anyone's considered yet. But Luke Jackson as a makeshift ruckman while TDK's out, and then being able to run him through your forward line and having that flexibility, is it an option?
Yes, but there is a big but.
Yeah.
Just if he loses that ruck role, it's just going to be. It's the same situation as last year that we all put ourselves in.
Literally the exact same.
It's the exact same situation. If Darcy comes straight back in, we're hoping for 90s at that rate. It's just I don't know. If you're a risk taker and you think that Jackson holds up at solo ruck, then yeah, I don't mind it. But there is a massive risk factor that I think I just can't go there, especially with how stacked my forward line is currently.
164 in the year, and the rest have been 91, 95, 165, 115, and 111. So the ceiling's there, but the consistency probably isn't. But that probably something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, that 91 as well was rucking and only for 3 quarters as well. So it could have been even bigger.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next game. GWS for me.
Yeah, Freo. And you both said
I'm going
GWS.
GWS.
Yeah. Western Bulldogs versus Essendon.
Oh, no.
Is that Jaden Laverde?
No.
Laverde is back.
Oh. Him and Ben Mackay in the same back line.
No.
Tip the Dogs by 10 goals, ladies and gentlemen. Oh.
Why
Anyway,
is-
as you can tell, we're Essendon supporters, and we don't like that.
Why is Angus
But-
Clark not in this football team?
Oh, I want Johnson in. Johnson's going to be an absolute gun. But as
Anyway,
you can see here,
move on.
Yep. Derea and Arthur Jones is into the side. Harvey Gallagher out. Caleb Poulter is out. Jaden Laverde is in. That's right, Ahmed from Jaden Laverde is in. You can take him and you can keep Brandon Zirk Thatcher as well. Lewis Hayes with an ACL. He's out, unfortunately, for the year. Best of luck with your recovery, young man. Now, did you know, Rookie, that Bontempelli, with his SuperCoach averages, the worst team for him to play against is Essendon. He averages only 101 SuperCoach points per game, and that is 6 points less than the next worst.
Jeez.
Ruck killers, Bont killers. We're great.
Yep.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
just can't win finals.
No,
No. At least you got something going for you.
Yeah.
we're great.
Hurls went early on Matt Kennedy, Coach. What do you think?
I think it was a smart play. I mean, he's very much like that Tom Green, where he's just teething on that top liner in the forward line. Again,
Yeah.
DPP, which is also viable. Again, it's just not many can go there because of that bye. So if he could facilitate it, I think it's a great cover. I think it's at worst an F6 loop by end of season.
For sure.
Yeah, he's just so consistent no matter where they put him. They could keep him up forward, he'll kick 3 goals and he'll still pump out a 95-100. It's just a consistent pick that you need.
With the attention going to Marcus Bontempelli most times and Tom Liberatore and Bailey Dale when the occasional tag comes off the back flank. Mind you, he's got 11 of his last 14 of Etihad Marvel, and he's got a marvellous run. I'm looking at bringing him in next week. Would have been this week if not for the ruck crisis. Is Ed Richards, Deadly, a man that people are forgetting about?
Yes, I'm going to say yes, and especially since not even an hour ago he just signed a new contract for about 5 years or so. So
5-year deal, yep.
Yeah, he's earning the big bucks now, and deservedly so. He's been good. He's priced at $573K with a 56 break even. I thought his scoring definitely would have slowed up a bit, but it's actually gotten better with Bont in the side. So yeah, I mean, any of the Bulldogs midfield, I'm not going to talk you out of. I have no reason to talk you out of any of that midfield.
Historically, they're a top 2 SuperCoach scoring midfield in the competition, Rookie.
Yeah, and that's why I started the man himself, Ed Richards. He's had him from the start of the season. I was banking on the fact that Bont in makes him better, but even further, that Bont and Treloar in actually opens him up, which is why we saw that spike score at Mars. So I still love the pick. I still would love to get it. Like, if you want a pod player and you can handle the buy, definitely look at him. Do know that the spike score probably got reduced with Treloar out, though, because it means that the tag is probably going to Bont and then Richards over Libba, just because Libba isn't someone that can transition the ball like Richards can at the moment. So there is that little bit of worry. But again, I still think he's a great pick. I think he's still less than 3% owned, I'm going to say.
Yeah, he's a very much a POD
currently
pick.
2.6% owned. So lovely pod that is providing all the goods.
Yep. And for Essendon, we see Archer Day Wicks 99K rookie midfield on the wing. Could be a definite trading target for us next week. If he gets through a game and scores his 50 or 60. Zach Reed has been named. Apart from that, Isaac Kako, most people are holding him because he's a slow burn. Sardell Hawley. So, Sardell Hawley, lads. So, this is the other guy I'm bringing in this week. I'm hoping he's not fucking the best recipient here. Surely he's not.
That worries me, that bench. It really worries me. I'm going to have to do a bit more digging, but that vest is... out of that bench, I'd probably guess it's him, annoyingly.
Oh, dear.
Well,
Oh dear.
since you are the Dons boys, we've got Hobbs and he's mid forward. You've got Shield, who's
Shield was the
halfback
sub
mid.
last week.
He was the sub, but I can't see that happening again.
Can't see Setterfield getting the sub vest.
Setterfield won't be.
He's been pretty good. Do
Unless
they warm in Laverty maybe?
Have to force a Nick Martin back or something. He did play a lot back on the weekend. It means playing smaller. It's tough. It's a tough read.
Look at that Dogs forward line though. Kennedy, Harms, Sanders, West. That is a smaller forward line. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I'll tell you what, you can still go with him. And if it's not him, St Kilda if it's not him, just keep him. If it is him, St Kilda play after him. A box short, or even if you don't have Liam O'Connell, he's not scoring great, but it's a warm body. And I feel like that's what we need. We just need a warm body on the bench. So for 136K, you can get Liam O'Connell, who's going to probably pump out 50s at best, but it's going to be better than what we've got.
Yeah. No, I like the shout for Liam O'Connell. I've got him in as a downgrade option this week as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. If El Hawley isn't the sub, I'll keep him. If he is, then I'm going to O'Connell.
What's O'Connell priced at?
136 with a minus.
Oh, so he's even cheaper. Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't scored more than about 47, but
That's all right. It's a warm body.
Yeah, it's a warm body. And he obviously had that concussion game where he got concussed really early, which actually dropped his price back down even more. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, Dogs by heaps, and it hurts.
Essendon by about 60. We're great.
The Dogs are taking this one home by
5,000. Let's move into the next game, Sunday, and the absolute shitfest. That'll be the Tigers versus the North Melbourne Footy Club. Zach Fisher, Will Dawson, Will Phillips in. No outs yet. Jaden Short coming back in. Campbell Gray and Jasper Elgar. Hopefully he gets his first game. He looked really good in the preseason, but hasn't been able to crack the seniors yet.
His fair fellow numbers look really good.
Looking really good. Who cares?
I mean, Harry
Skinny's going to be,
Harry Sheasel, we can talk about Sheasel. He's been training mid forward as we've discussed, and this sort of leads me into why I'm holding Caleb Daniel.
Yep.
I can't say Fisher coming back in. I'd imagine he's the emergency again. I'm going to keep Daniel. He's going to be the only ball user at that back line. McCurch has been training out in the wing with some mid time and the occasional forward time. They're just going to split him and Sheasel together. Daniel's going to be the only distributor.
Yeah,
I'm happy to keep Daniel for at least one more week and just see, especially against Richmond.
Yeah, okay. What do you reckon, Coach? Is there anything that tickles your fancy? Actually, for those that don't have Cherry, is it time to jump from TDK to Cherry?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it.
100%. I'm doing it.
I've done it.
Does mean I have to have the little helmet and the big helmet, which I'm not ecstatic about. But as much as the news of Sheasel, again, moving to that half-forward mid-roll is disappointing as a Sheasel owner, it does kind of open up the door for Daniel to have another 80 to 100 game that we kind of desperately need him to have. And we're hoping he even goes bigger to maybe on 115, just really help not bleed cash till we want to get rid of him for the buy rounds, I imagine. So, look, I'm being forced to hold a little helmet. I'm not happy about it, but I'm hoping he has a ripper game just to not make it sting.
That's it.
Awesome. Is there anything really? Tommy Sims, I want people to keep an eye on him. I think next week, being on the bubble, he scored a 50-odd last week. Luke Trainer, for those that are holding him, he's starting on the bench by the looks of this, but hopefully he gets back to his 70s and makes us a little bit more cash. I don't see any changes for North Melbourne, to be honest with you. They were actually really good against Brisbane last week.
Jeez, okay, never mind. I was about to give a sneaky option, but he's a lot more expensive than what I thought. I was going to say Sam Banks I was hoping he's about 250k, but he's 340. But he's full on stolen that role from Jaden Short, and he's looking real good in it. He was the one that was sort of, remember in the preseason when we were all looking at Caleb Smith, it was sort of he was the one that was keeping Caleb Smith out of that halfback role.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of come to fruition that he's there and it's working for him. But yeah, you can't go there at 340k, unfortunately. And I just don't think there's anyone to go to in this game.
Unfortunately,
Sherry.
not. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much how it is. Brisbane versus Melbourne.
Actually,
tips.
North by 2 goals.
I'm going to tip a draw.
I'm going to go Tigers by 4 points.
Beautiful.
Yeah, North Melbourne back-to-back draws. Jeez, I'd be happy with that.
That'd be so good.
Brisbane Lions are playing the Melbourne Footy Club at the Gabba. Devon Robertson, Kitty Coleman is in at this stage. Ty Gallop, Connor McKenna, Conor McGregor's brother, is in. Jared Berry is out with that concussion. Ty Gallop is new, but they haven't dropped anyone yet for Melbourne. Melksham, Laurie, Howes, Fullerton, Petty, Aiden Johnson. Jeez, I hope Johnson's not playing because he'll be my loop down forward. Van Ruin is already out. Colton Thulstrup is out. And Jeffy, my name's Jeff, is out. Matthew Jefferson.
I think you might be safe here, Horse.
Let's talk about Max Gawn. This is a hot topic in the SuperCoach community because he is 735k. We see there that Oscar McInerney's been named at the moment because he has been getting epidurals in his back for a injury he's been carrying for a little while. Maxi Gawn still has a 90-odd break even, but we saw Cherry go 190 against Big O last week. Now, I know that Max Gawn doesn't play well at the Gabba, but rookie, pros and cons. Do the pros outweigh the cons, and do you just got to lock in your R1, R2?
It's really hard. I think it's an even easier conversation when you talk about Sherry because it's not you don't have to stomach as much cash to get to Sherry than Gawn. In hindsight, it's not that much. It's like 50k. But really, how does that affect your trade cadence moving forward is the bigger question here. Because with all of that cash that you're putting into Gawn, he was at currently 735, which is crazy to think about paying up for someone. Look, if McInerney was named out, I'd say do it because you're going to also capture a big score. Again, we saw Sherry do a really good number on him last week as well. So Gawn could do the exact same thing. We saw Comben have massive intercepts, and we know Gawn loves to have the kick-out intercepts as well. So that's going to benefit him as well for at least a nice safe score at the worst case. I permit the Sherry trade up. I don't know if I permit the Gawn trade up. It's a really tough one. I think there's a lot of cash that you can utilize elsewhere in a week where you have a pew on pretty much you can grab at a cheap price. Like for going maybe a rookie and then Gawn, you could probably even go a Romo, a Primo, and get a pew all with the same sort of cash. Like there's a lot of things you can do to get a rookie off field rather than
100%
do that.
You know what
so
it's
tough.
You know what this makes me think, Horse?
What's up?
Do you remember last year when you had Max Gawn and I didn't, and me and Kizza rode the fade Gawn train all the way to the end of the season, just because we couldn't get there, and we sort of had to make an excuse why we weren't getting him.
Yep,
it's happened again. The scenario has happened again, and I feel like if you don't have Gawn, you might be time to hop on the train from last year, and because the TDK up is so disgusting, it's so expensive, and if you can do it in 2 trades, I don't hate it, but I don't love it at the same time.
It's tricky, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
Really tricky. It's too much money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then the thing that's aiding the trade up is there's a substantial difference between R1 and 2 than to R3.
Yeah,
like it's a clear differential that's going to make a decent change, like decent change in your score each week.
40 SuperCoach points per game over the past 3 weeks.
Is it worth it if you can do it in 2 trades? Maybe you get a Cleary down to a Simpson and then get TDK up to Gawn. Is that even viable? Like I don't feel good. Anything just feels icky trying to get to Gawn.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's tough work.
It is,
and I feel like if you have a Flynn, if you still have a Flynn, maybe hold TDK for one more week and just see. It's tough. It's probably the toughest decision this week comfortably if you don't have Gawn.
Yeah.
Now I see you've got in your little under your name there, horse. Big Max is in, so you've
Yep.
obviously done the move.
So far, yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you still going to ride with it? Do you reckon?
Oh,
And how did you do it as well?
Shit.
We'll go into how'd you do it first.
How did I do it? I had a little bit of coin in the bank. So TDK out, Sardell Hawley in, and then it is. I'll have to check who I traded out. I think it was Bice and TDK, and I've still got 200k sitting there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's getting. I'm replacing a ruck with a ruck, and then I'm pretty much replacing a maxed out rookie with a rookie that I'm hoping will make money. So looking at it that way, it's a like for like. It's a little bit sideways, but if you look at TDK and the Pitnet scenario right now, if Pitnet plays as well as what we think he's going to, or that he has shown previously, does this mean they're just going to go back into that shit net and TDK ruck tandem, and then we're going to get 90s, 80s out of TDK, and TDK is going to play. He might even end up, well, he won't end up a ruck forward because he won't play enough forward time, but he would just be mediocre at best. And then by that stage, say Max Gawn goes 140, for example, against an injured Oscar McInerney this week, and then his price goes up to 750k. Then what do? He's got West Coast again in his cycle. He's got Richmond again in his cycle. Like he could end up staying over 700k for the year. So if you don't get him this week, then is there a chance that you get him at all? He's got Sydney at the G. Sydney don't play the G well. Then he's got St Kilda, Collingwood at the G. That's tough. Port Adelaide against Visentini or Sweet. That could be favourable for him. Gold Coast in Gold Coast, which will be tough. And then he's got, so that's the two tough ones, Gold Coast and Adelaide in a row. So Adelaide in the Adelaide Oval. Then he's got North at the G, Carlton at the G, St Kilda, West Coast, Dogs at the G, Hawthorn at the G, Collingwood to finish.
That back end's real good, but there's a 4-week stretch there that sucks, to be honest.
It does, but if he, there could be 50 points, 60 points a week. Yeah.
Oh,
if you don't have Max Gawn and Tristan Cherry, I feel you're on the back foot. So it's almost like I'm just praying that some of these 99k rookies, like Archie Day Wicks, if he plays well this week, he could be my trading next week, and then I can upgrade Trainer into another backline primo, and then everything will hopefully will be restored. It's just this week it's sideways for me to get the best two ruckmen, and as shown alongside Brayshaw, the best two scorers in the competition.
I do. I'm sort of warming a little bit to the idea that you've probably just got to bite the bullet and do it.
I think that's it. The more you talk about it, and the more you see the difference between the importance of having R1 and R2 and just not having to worry about it. Otherwise, you're going into each week going, "Oh, I hope Gawn doesn't score well. Oh, I hope Sherry doesn't score well."
Yeah,
I'm glad I have cash in the bank because I can go TDK to Sherry in one trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got enough to do that, which means I can, depending on who's sub and whatnot, I can make some moves to open up cash for next week. We'll see what happens, but that's like a definite locked-in trade for me. It's just whether I use Moraes' name, for example, which is annoying because I wanted to trade him out. I'm looking at the squad for Port Adelaide. I'm not even sure he's going to be sub either.
I don't think he will be.
They got more backline defenders than they do wing or forwards.
Yeah,
I think Moraes stays clear of the vest. So I'm a little bit confused on the next trades, but I think you do just. I think it's a lot of pride. It's breaking every SuperCoach rule in the book at this point to pay 700 plus for a player. But
you know what? This year has been about people who have gone against the rule book, and you look at the people that are sitting in the top 5 or 10 at the moment that our good friend the Skodfather's had on his channel, and they've gone they've got no rookies on field, but at the same time they've got no cash gen on the bench, so they're riding by the skin of their teeth at the moment with the team that they've got, which goes against how we usually pay SuperCoach. This year, I think you blokes would agree, it's been different and like no other because we get Bustlinger, gets dropped after 2 games. Hustwaite's been dropped tonight.
So many subs.
Hasty. Who
Almost
else? Bo Allen.
Has been killed by a sub.
Harry Boyd started and then shit the bed. Johnson. Sheldrick's done not much, even though he's back in the midfield this week. Zach Reid started slow. People traded him and then fucking bang. So it's just been a year like no other. Brisbane for me in this one. We better get through the games.
No more gone.
I'll quickly say that Jared Berry out. Probably expect Jasper Fletcher to go back to a wing on this one, no matter even how good he's been playing at halfback.
Yep.
Which probably opens the door for this man right here, Kitty Coleman.
Coleman. Beautiful.
So keep an eye on that.
Fletcher is named on the wing on team sheets, so I expect.
I think he always gets named on the wing still, but if they decide to run with Fletcher still at halfback, it'll probably be boring old Connor McKenna who just chills out in the wing.
Yep. Let's go to the next game, the last game of the round. We've got to talk about this, so we'll do it quick. Oscar Allen, Bo Allen is back. Clay Hall is named as in. Geez, some people will be happy with that. Jack Williams as well. Archer Reid is out. He'll probably be, extended bench and not playing. Angus McLennan, Mason Wood, Toby Travaglia, Ari Schoenmaker, Harry Boyd on the ins. Fuck, I hope to see him make some cash, but probably not going to happen. Dougal Howard, Liam Stocker out. Ryan Marich, he's probably the one that we'll touch on here, lads. Is it too late to buy if you don't have him, rookie?
I don't know if it's just my pride or anything, but I can't happily trade him in at this point. I think I'd rather grab a Shai Bolton around the same price or grab a Pew. I don't know. There's just something about it. If you maybe it's just because everyone else got him cheaper. I just don't think he'll be the keeper that we all want. I think we're just seeing a purple patch. Maybe that's copium, but we'll find out.
Gotcha. Deadly for the Saints. Nazay Wangani Malera back to halfback. He's been awesome this year. Jack Sinclair, he's got a 106 break even. So for those that can't get him this week, he probably won't go up too much. You wouldn't think. But is this a game where Sinclair, Wangani Malera, Rowan Marshall, or even Jack McRae pop off?
Yes, because I've spent the past, I reckon, 5 days with Sinclair in my trades coming in. And since I'm not getting him, you can lock in a 170. Because last time I did that exact same thing, he scored a 162 against Richmond. So
popped off. Yeah.
It's against West Coast, so you can maybe lock in a 190. So I'd put my captain on Jack Sinclair because I'm not getting him. But yes, there is definitely a big upside factor for anyone against West Coast. It could literally be anyone.
Yeah, Coach, anyone you want to chat about there?
I think all my money's on Sinclair to have a massive spike game. Naz will have a nice safe game as usual. McRae will probably have a nice game. Marshall will probably do a lot more than people expect. I think we have limited expectations from little Romo himself. But I think he'll have a ripper game against a Flynn or BJ, whoever he comes up against. But
for sure,
I think Sinclair's just going to go absolutely nuts. He's going to be debuting for a lot of teams. And I think a lot of teams are going to give him the armband this week as well.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Do you want a little sneaky one? I can guarantee no one owns him in SuperCoach, and I don't know why you would, but I reckon Brad Hill's in for a big game. I can't see Windhager tagging anyone, so I assume that Windhager will just chill out in a wing.
They're on
Brad
the same
Hill
team.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good. Windhager's not going to tag him.
Yeah.
Then.
No, I'm saying he goes out into a wing. Anyway, get Lockie Bramble responsibly, but Brad Hill touches. That's all I'm giving you.
Loving it. We'll get into some questions and some comments before we finish up.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
In saying all that, Global asked at the top of the show, I need a player under 400k in my flex. Who's he going to go to? The answer is...
Who?
Oh,
Pooh?
Yeah. Yep.
Pure ecstasy. G'day, mate. Thoughts on TDK, O'Sullivan and Bice for Cherry, Whitfield and Cooper Simpson? Yes, and yes.
Yep, love that.
Big ticks.
I love it. Nikhil Patel, VC on Matt Rao.
I don't mind it. I think my VC, because I'm forced into it, is on Chad Warner. But if I had someone in this game, I'd probably be going with one of them.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Alana, how you doing? Everyone going to hate me trading Bias and TDK for Dawson and Marshall. Just can't justify paying for Gord. I just can't. That's fair. You've got to, you've got to ensure that I've done it, but I've still got some money in the bank. But you've got to allow it to fit in with the structure of your side as well. Don't, hamper your coming weeks and your trading plans if it means burning all the cash that you've got in the bank for him.
Yep, 100%.
Big 40. I'm holding TDK this week. Recess next week. We'll cover with Flex. Bring in Sinclair and Rosie. Nice.
Love it.
He must still have Flynn. James D'Alberto doing Marias, Daniel and TDK to Rosie, Sinclair and El Huoli. Thoughts? I like that too.
Solid.
Yeah, solid.
Very solid. Nikhil, would you bring in El Huoli this week if he's not sub?
Yeah, if he's not sub, yep, 100%.
Jonas the GOAT. Who thinks Jath is going to turn up tonight? Not me.
Nope.
No one.
Not a chance.
Hurls, if you don't pick up Gorn, then keep DDK as a pod. Some other hack is no good.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't settle for second best. Yeah.
I don't see a point in going to a random ruck. Like Royal Marshall at the price I don't hate, but besides that, no one.
Yeah. Jasper, trade outs, TDK, Bice, Daniel, in Cherry, Hawley, and Sinclair. I like it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like it.
Ricky Edwards thinking that
trades I was going to go with
Hawley and Carroll likely subs. Probably.
I don't think Carroll can be the sub. Just looking at this team, it's probably going to be a Francis Evans, would be my guess, because they got so many, even just there, they've got 3 forwards on the bench. They've got a couple swing backmen, but I think Carroll is probably safe.
Mm. And lastly, before we finish up, lads, what are we looking out for tonight? Mr. Start. I'm probably looking at the Gold Coast midfield to have a field day, especially with Jared Witts and Ned Moyle going up against the underdone Ned Reeves, who hasn't played at the level for, it'd be over 18 months now, wouldn't it, rookie?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've seen Reeves pop up.
Yeah. So Ned Reeves is 6'100", but yeah.
Players with big tanks in this game are going to have big ones. Probably, John Noble's going to go pretty large again. Dean Rioli, they're probably going to go well. Just guys who can run and carry the footy.
100%.
Do we think Tuke is his ton run?
Yeah, Tuke. Yeah, one of very few.
Picks it up. Yep. I reckon he's fine.
He's been good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us. We want to allow you to go get a drink, get yourself a cold beer, get some snacks ready, sit on the couch and watch Thursday night footy. This has been the Panic Room Rookie Coach. Thank you for joining us, mate. For the people that are in our stream at the moment, all 273, where can they find you?
Just at Rookie Coach AFL on X and YouTube.
Beautiful. Deadly, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for forcing me back on to this place. I don't mind being here. I don't hate seeing your head.
Dickhead. I was going to give you some credit too and say this was actually your creation in wanting to do a Thursday night show, but I'm going to take all the credit now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for tonight. If you'd like to hear Rookie Coach and I behind the mic, NBL 1 Saturday night on KO Freebies, it'll be the Melbourne Tigers playing the Bendigo Braves, NBL 1. We are the commentators on Fox Sports and KO Sports, sorry. So if you'd like to hear us chew the fat, all things basketball, you can catch us there. If not, you will see us Sunday night for our review show. Thank you, boys. I'm the horse. Coach is below. Deadly's in the middle and a little bit relevant. We'll see you then.
Bye, Dons.